I welcome you students to my chemistry tutorials. The topic of this video is nucleophilic substitution reaction of alkyl halides. Alkyl halides can be represented by R, X, where R is the alkyl group and X is halogen, which could be chlorine, bromine or iodine. Nucleophilic substitution reaction is one in which the halogen atom of an alkyl halide is replaced by a stronger nucleophile when a suitable reagent is added to the alkyl halide. Now, what is a nucleophile? Nucleo refers to positive charge. Phile or philic means attraction. A nucleophile is thus represented by Nu minus because it is attracted to the positive charge or positive center in a molecule. It should be carrying a negative charge. It is an atom or a group of atoms carrying a negative charge or a lone pair of electrons on one of the atoms. I will explain taking a specific example. Let me take methyl chloride. This reaction takes place in 3 steps. In the alkyl halide or methyl chloride here, the CCl bond is polarized first. Chlorine, being more electronegative than carbon, pulls the shared pair of electrons towards itself, thus creating a slight negative charge on itself and a positive charge on carbon. This is the first step. In the second step, the nucleophile makes an attack on the positive carbon, and then the halogen is displaced. It leaves the molecule as Cl minus and the new nucleophile takes its place. The reaction can be represented as CH3Cl plus Nu minus giving CH3Nu plus Cl minus. I will give you a specific example of the nucleophile. For the nucleophile OH minus, you have to use the reagent aqueous NaOH or aqueous KOH. The Cl will be replaced by OH minus. You will get CH3OH, which is an alcohol. So this is the way you have to understand a nucleophilic substitution reaction. Now I'll explain the reaction with other nucleophiles and the reagents that they supply these nucleophiles and also the products that are formed. We will see it as a chart now. Let me take the example of ethyl bromide here. I will write the nucleophile on top and the reagent at the bottom of the line. When the nucleophile is OH minus, the reagent must be aqueous KOH or aqueous NaOH. And we already saw that this leads to the formation of CH3, CH2OH and alcohol. Next, I will take the nucleophile NH2 minus and the reagent is ammonia. So what should be the product? CH3, CH2, NH2, which is the primary amine. Now when you use KCN reagent, it will supply the nucleophile Cn minus and you will get CH3, CH2, Cn. Organic compounds with Cn functional group are called nitriles. So this is ethane nitrile. When you use AgCN instead of potassium cyanide, if you use AgCN, silver cyanide, this supplies the nucleophile Nc minus. It is reversed here. So it will be CH2 Nc, which is isonitrile. Now when you supply the reagent KNO2, potassium nitrite, this will give you the nucleophile ONO minus, CH3, CH2, ONO, which is called ethyl nitrite. Now, when you use AgNO2, the nucleophile will be NO2 minus and you will get CH3, CH2, NO2. This is nitroethane. The last one I take as RONA, sodium alkoxide. This supplies the nucleophile OR minus. To make you have better understanding of that, I'll explain it here separately. See, ROH is an alcohol. The hydrogen of any alcohol can be easily replaced by a sodium atom or potassium atom. So when you replace the hydrogen of the alcohol by sodium, you get RONA, which is called sodium alkoxide. If the R is a methyl group, this is called sodium methoxide. If it is an ethyl group, you call it sodium ethoxide. This supplies the nucleophile OR minus. So what should be the product now? CH3, CH2, OR. So this is an alkyl group, ethyl group, and R is another alkyl group. In between you have an oxide linkage. These such classes of compounds are called ethers. So from these reactions, you can easily understand the importance of this reaction, because this leads to the formation of so many other classes of organic compounds like alcohols, amines, nitriles, nitro compounds, ethers, etc. by a simple reaction of the alkyl halide using a suitable reagent. Out of the reactions discussed above, I want to draw your attention to two sets of reactions involving the nucleophile nucleophiles CN and NO2. These two are ambident nucleophiles because these can attach themselves to the carbon using two different atoms. When the CN nucleophile attaches through using its carbon atom to the positive carbon of the alkyl halide, you get the nitriles. When it is attaching itself through the nitrogen atom, you get isonitrile. Similarly here, when the NO2 group attaches itself using its nitrogen atom, you get the nitroalkane. And when it is attaching itself using its oxygen atom, you get the alkyl nitrides. We will compare and contrast the reagents also now. Rx, when you use KCN, you get RCN, and when you use AgCN, you get RNC. Because here it is Cn minus, nucleophile Cn minus, here it is Nc minus. And when you use KNO2, see here it is not NO2, but it is ONO. That is a reversal in the nucleophile, though we are not supposed to use the term reversal. To make you understand better, I am saying this because it is not directly attaching through its nitrogen atom, but through its oxygen atom. So you get RONO, the alkyl nitride, and when it is AgNO2, it will be NO2 minus, and you get RNO2. I suppose you are clear about these reactions now. A complete understanding of the nucleophilic substitution reactions will be very helpful in bringing about organic conversions for you. Let me now go into the mechanism of nucleophilic substitution reaction of alkyl halide. There are two mechanisms offered to explain the path of the reaction. These are SN2 and SN1. Substitution nucleophilic bimolecular and substitution nucleophilic unimolecular. I will first take a primary alkyl halide and explain the mechanism of its hydrolysis. What is a primary alkyl halide? As you know, it is one in which the halogen is attached to a primary carbon atom. And the primary carbon atom is one in which the carbon is attached to one other carbon atom. The typical example will be CH3, CH2, Cl. Halogen is attached to a primary carbon. A primary carbon is one which is attached to one other carbon atom. And hydrolysis reaction is one in which the alkyl halide is treated with an alkali to replace the halogen by hydroxyl group, leading to the formation of alcohol. This is called the hydrolysis of alkyl halide. I will represent the alkyl halide, that is ethyl chloride, this way. The carbon is in the midst of a tetrahedron. Now the OH group from the reagent, when you add alkali, the OH group from the reagent is attacking the carbon from the rear, from behind. So this leads to the formation of a transition state. The transition state is one in which a bond between the nucleophile, that is OH here, is formed between that and the carbon, and the bond between carbon and the halogen is weakened. The bond between the nucleophile and the carbon is formed or tending to be formed, and the bond between the carbon and the halogen is weakened or tending to be broken. Subsequently, the halogen is pushed away from the molecule and you get the compound in which the OH is attached to the carbon. This is again a tetrahedron. This is ethanol. Is that clear to you? Now I will give you the different features of the mechanism of this reaction. As you see here, the reaction takes place in a single step. It involves formation of a transition state. The rate of the reaction depends on the concentration of alkyl halide and the nucleophile. Hence, it is a second order reaction. As per kinetics, it is a second order reaction and bimolecular, involves two species. Since the nucleophile attacks from the rear, it leads to the inversion of configuration. Since the transition state is involved in the reaction, presence of bulky groups will hinder the reaction, obviously, isn't it? Now, you see on the screen three compounds: a primary alkyl halide, a secondary alkyl halide, and a tertiary alkyl halide. So, if you want to arrange them in the increasing order of reactivity towards SN2 mechanism, you will have to understand that a primary alkyl halide, which has the least hindrance due to the presence of not so many bulky groups, will be most reactive. A secondary alkyl halide has the carbon attached to two alkyl groups, so it will be little less reactive than the primary alkyl halide, and the tertiary alkyl halide will be least reactive. So rate of reaction according to SN2 mechanism, primary alkyl halide can be written like this: primary alkyl halide more reactive than secondary alkyl halide, more reactive than tertiary towards SN2 mechanism. It's not difficult to understand. Now we will pass on to SN1 mechanism. Now let us discuss the hydrolysis of a tertiary alkyl halide. It follows SN1 mechanism. The simplest example of a tertiary alkyl halide is tertiary butyl chloride, or it is 2-methyl-2-chloropropane. This reaction takes place in two steps. In step 1, the tertiary alkyl halide undergoes bond cleavage, that is the CH bond breaks to form the carbocation and the halogen ion, carbocation and the halide ion. Tertiary carbocation being stable, it is readily formed. So this is step 1. In step 2, the nucleophile attacks the carbocation to form the alcohol. Here we are considering hydrolysis. So it is the OH minus ion which is attacking the carbocation and you get the alcohol. The first step is the slower one. It is the slow step and this is a fast step. The slow step is always the rate determining step, and in the rate determining step you have only one reactant, so it depends on the concentration of the tertiary alkyl halide only. So we can say the reaction follows first order kinetics and it is unimolecular. Reaction is of first order and is unimolecular. One more thing I would like to mention is, since the carbocation is flat, it is a flat, it has flat configuration, the OH minus can attack from bottom or from top. When the carbon to which the halogen is attached is an asymmetric one or a chiral one, OH attacking from below or above will lead to form two different isomers, and so the product will be racemic. There is equal chance of each isomer being formed, so the product will be racemic. So this we have to keep in mind only in such specific cases. We already saw that with regard to SN2 mechanism, a primary alkyl halide is more reactive than a secondary one, and which is more reactive than a tertiary alkyl halide. With regard to SN1 mechanism, a tertiary alkyl halide is more reactive than secondary, which is more reactive than primary. You should be able to explain the reason here. In the case of a primary alkyl halide or in the case of a SN2 mechanism, a transition state is formed. So we already saw that in the case of a tertiary alkyl halide, there will be steric hindrance. That is why it cannot form a transition state readily, and so this will be least reactive. With regard to SN1 mechanism, a carbocation is formed in the first step, and you know that a tertiary carbocation is more reactive, more stable than a secondary carbocation, which is more stable than a primary carbocation. Hence, for SN1 mechanism, tertiary is the most reactive one. In the case of a secondary alkyl halide, it can follow either of the mechanisms. Having come to the end of the discussion on this topic, I would like to mention an important type of question here. You will be often asked to compare reactivities of given pair of compounds towards a specific reaction. See, I have given you two pairs of compounds here. The first one is chloroethane, the second one is chlorobenzene. Towards hydrolysis. You know hydrolysis is nothing but a nucleophilic substitution reaction by OH group. So what you have to consider here is in which one is the CCl bond easier to break. Chloroethane, you know, there is no specific important factor there. But chlorobenzene, let me show the structure. Now in chlorobenzene, due to resonance effect, the lone pair of electrons on chlorine tend to flow towards the benzene ring, forming resonance structures. I will give you one of the resonance structures. It will be like this. This is one of the resonance structures. What you see is the chlorine is attached to the benzene ring by a double bond. It is not exact double bond but partial double bond, because it's not a separate molecule, it's one of the resonance structures only. So we say chlorine is attached to the benzene ring by partial double bond. Anyway, it is stronger than a single bond. A double bond is shorter and stronger than a single bond. So chlorine is the CCl bond in chlorobenzene is much stronger than the CCl bond in chloroethane. So obviously, you know, the reactivity of chloroethane will be faster than chlorobenzene towards hydrolysis. The same thing can be asked in a different way. So you may be asked, you can prepare ethanol by hydrolysis of chloroethane easily, but you cannot prepare phenol from by hydrolysis of chlorobenzene. Why? The same is the reason for that. Now the second pair of compounds is chloromethane and chloroethane towards SN2 mechanism. SN2 mechanism involves the formation of transition state. That should be the factor for consideration here. In transition state, the central carbon atom is surrounded by too many groups. Nearly 5 groups. So the bulkier groups will cause hindrance. So what do you conclude from this? Chloromethane having a smaller methyl group will cause less hindrance than chloroethane, where it has a bulkier ethyl group. So towards SN2 mechanism, chloromethane will be faster in reacting than chloroethane. With this, I conclude the discussion on nucleophilic substitution of alkyl halide. Thanks for listening. Hope you found it useful.